stands an intuition. The stuff of our thoughts differs radically from the lowly matter that shapes our bodies. During dreams, while the body lies still, thoughts wander into the remote realms of imagination and memory. Could there be a better proof that mental activity cannot be reduced to the material world, that the mind is made of a distinct stuff? How could the free-flying mind ever have arisen from a down-to-earth brain? Descartes' challenge. The idea that the mind belongs to a separate realm, distinct from the body, was theorized early on, in major philosophical texts such as Plato's Phaedo, 4th century BC, and Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica, 1265-74, a foundational text for the Christian view of the soul. But it was the French philosopher René Descartes, 1596-1650, who explicitly stated what is now known as dualism, the thesis that the conscious mind is made of a non-material substance that eludes the normal laws of physics. Ridiculing Descartes has become fashionable in neuroscience. Following the publication of Antonio Damasio's best-selling book Descartes' Error in 1994, many contemporary textbooks on consciousness have started out by bashing Descartes for allegedly setting neuroscience research years behind. The truth, however, is that Descartes was a pioneering scientist and fundamentally a reductionist, whose mechanical analysis of the human mind, well in advance of his time, was the first exercise in synthetic biology and theoretical modeling. Descartes' dualism was no whim of the moment. It was based on a logical argument that asserted the impossibility of a machine ever mimicking the freedom of the conscious mind. The founding father of modern psychology, William James, acknowledges our debt. To Descartes belongs the credit of having first been bold enough to conceive of a completely self-sufficing nervous mechanism which should be able to perform complicated and apparently intelligent acts. Indeed, in visionary volumes called Description of the Human Body, Passions of the Soul, and L'Homme, Man, Descartes presented a resolutely mechanical perspective on the inner operation of the body. "We are sophisticated automata," wrote this bold philosopher. "Our bodies and brains literally act as a collection of organs, musical instruments comparable to those found in the churches of his time, with massive bellows forcing a special fluid called animal spirits into reservoirs, then a broad variety of pipes, whose combinations generate all the rhythms and music of our actions. I desire that you consider that all the functions that I have attributed to this machine, such as the digestion of food, the beating of the heart and the arteries, the nourishment and growth of the bodily parts, respiration, waking and sleeping, the reception of light, sounds, odors, smells, heat, and other such qualities by the external sense organs, the impression of the ideas of them in the organ of common sense and the imagination, the retention or imprint of these ideas in the memory, the internal movements of the appetites and the passions, and finally the external movements of all the bodily parts that so aptly follow both the actions of objects presented to the senses. These functions follow in this machine simply from the disposition of the organs, as wholly naturally as the movements of a clock or other automaton follow from the disposition of its counterweights and wheels." Descartes' hydraulic brain had no difficulty moving his hand toward an object. The object's visual features, impinging on the inner surface of the eye, activated a specific set of pipes. An inner decision-making system that was located in the pineal gland then leaned in a certain direction, thus sending the spirits flowing, to cause precisely the appropriate movement of the limbs. Memory corresponded to the selective reinforcement of some of these pathways, an insightful anticipation of the contemporary idea that learning relies on changes in the brain's connections, neurons that fire together, wire together. Descartes even presented an explicit mechanical model of sleep, which he theorized as a reduced pressure of the spirits. When the source of animal spirits was abundant, it circulated through every nerve,